All right, meeting called to order on April 7th at 5:32 PM. Members present: David Wells, Jeff Allen, Cami Warning, David Alvey, absent, David Worley. Others, John and Allison.
And Dustin Brown.
And Dustin, yes. And first thing, approval of minutes for March.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Visitors and petitioners.
We have visitors.
We have visitors.
Are you here for another?
Nothing to present.
He's a visitor, not a petitioner.
All right, old business, project updates, John.
Okay. Of course, the bathroom is complete. The only thing we haven't done yet is we're saving that finish, kind of a triangle shape from the front of the concrete over to the walking trail. Because the trucks coming in to build the pickleball court will come through there and we don't want it destroyed. So we're waiting until that's done to finish that project. Pickleball, we're still waiting. Talked to Justin over at Smith, and he said that they were going to begin when the weather got where they could. So, right now is not the time, but as soon as it kind of dries up and gets where they can, they're supposed to start that project. I've also gone ahead and ordered all the or a shade canopy, 2-post shade canopy for each of the bleachers. For the existing one and the new one. So we have 8 of those coming. They're going to be the dark brown frame with a royal blue top, just like all the other canopies in that royal blue. We also have ordered the bleachers for the new pickleball because we'll be the ones doing the concrete and we'll set them up. So I've got those ordered as well. Also, for your information, I've already ordered the benches for the baseball field, softball field. I've got those ordered. I actually ordered 2 additional ones just in case we need them somewhere, like one of the soccer fields or something. So that's got
awesome.
Again, Civic Center, I'm still sitting on G, waiting on O for that generator to arrive. They keep pushing Cornerstone back. The price is not going to go up as yet on this project, but it's still but we're still waiting on it. They pushed it out again, so we'll see how that goes. Paving in Old Park and Doctors Park, we're not going to have enough money to do either one of them. We've got enough money to do one or the other, but not both of them this year. But we will have enough money left over we're going to do Old Park, get it out, and the parking lot as well. And then we're also, with money that's left over, we're going to do the gravel portion through the pergola and the gravel up in Memorial Park to finish that one. So those 2 projects, we do have enough money in there to do that. So we're going to do those.
Okay.
Mowing is kicked in, I'm sure you all are aware of that. So, this is paving the pickleball. Okay, update on the walking trail, the Land and Water Conservation Fund. That has actually been approved at the state level, but it has to go up to the federal level right now to get approved. So it went up with a rating of 100. So that's gone. The grant, as they call it, grant, which is an assistance. Basically it's an assistance. Will be available if we get the LWCF. And right now that project is 255 total, 254 change. So when we get done, if both of those grants come in, or if the Land and Water Conservation Fund is approved, then the grant will also kick in. That'll leave us the 5,000 on the end. That'll be what we have to, actually 7,000. That's what we'll have to pay.
Is this widening the trail? Is that what we're talking
And
about?
taking it all the way down to Railroad Avenue.
Okay.
This is going from 5th Avenue
Uh-huh.
up along the east side and taking the north trail and then going straight on out to railroad. So, yeah, it'll be blacktop all the way.
And
And-
widen this part is what that's what you're asking, right? It's gonna widen from Fifth down.
It'll widen it a foot, cause it's 9 feet already. We can get by on a multi-use trail at 9 feet, although it's not suggested. So we're gonna move it out to 10 feet, and then that'll be 10 feet that down there too, so. That'll be 10 feet from Railroad Avenue all the way out to 62, or where we stop at 62, and then, of course, the state has said when they put the roundabout in, they will connect us to their trail. So, and I'm trying to get them, I've got a verbal from the District 1 to carry the walking trail around, because it stops at 62, and where Campbell comes in, Lone Valley will tie into Campbell, then it will come to the roundabout. So what I'm trying to do is trying to get foot traffic, which may or may not be there, but foot traffic from that intersection of 62 and Campbell back across to Lone Valley. So they don't have to walk across without a crosswalk or something like that. So we're trying to get that thrown in there as well.
Cool.
So they seem receptive to that, so we'll see.
Is the trail running out to 62, the one that we just put in, is that one 10 feet wide?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be, or else it can't be, well, it's supposed to be 10 feet wide. Where they give you more of the narrowness of it is when you get into a bridge. Sometimes because the width of them and being able to find one,
Mhm.
you have to go with an 8, or it's a much larger, so. That's what I think I think those are 8 foot wide, the ones we have. Down at Memorial Park. And then the one out on 62, it crosses the creek there. Those I think are both 8 foot wide. 8 or 9. I don't think it's not 10, I don't think. I think it narrowed a little bit.
So the grant, to widen that and go on down is the federal grant, the initial grant that. is going up to
Well,
federal,
Yeah, it's 200.
and that's-
The
Is that a
Land and Water
50%?
Conservation Fund is a federal grant, and it will pay to 125.
And then the second grant you're applying for is the grant, which is a state.
It's already been approved if the other one is
to
approved.
cover the.
And that's 120, no, it'll cover 127, 121.
Yeah.
So you're still gonna have a little bit left over. So you'll have 3,000 plus 7,000, what will be out of pocket locally for that trail, if they go through.
That one's already been approved, the state, like that. would
The
cover-
grant one has, the state has, but the federals have not. That's the second phase. That's where we're at right now. So it's confusing. It didn't seem like it was that much issue before. Of course, it wasn't that much money either. They used to go to 125. And this is now at 250. And then if the next bump is going to go to $1 million. So that's going to be a chunk of change, but. I don't know. It's a 2-year cycle. So I'm trying to think of something else to go into there. I've also talked with Mayor Bray of Paducah and with about our trails and their greenway trails. And so I expect him and one of his staff to come over and look at our trails. There has been some conversation, just kind of knocking things around about maybe connecting up us and Paducah somewhere along 62 somehow. So, and he was very interested in that, Mayor Bray was, so. I don't know, that's probably something that'll be down the road beyond me, but it's something to think about.
Mhm.
Because we were thinking, this whole time, we're still thinking about going all the way to Katie's. Once the we were thinking, do we go under 641? How do we get people across 641 without breaking traffic? Well, it's gonna be, right now, we were talking about tunneling under 641. But now I find that they've got designs on a roundabout, taking that interchange out and making it a roundabout as well. all at the same level, so then it won't be a problem and you can take the crosswalk around just like you would any other crosswalk. If that happens, that'll make it easier for us to connect up with Kentucky Dam. Once the new lock is opened, Katie's is gonna work to come up. Or Grand Rivers, I'm sorry. Grand Rivers is gonna work to come up to the lock and then, of course, take it to the bridge at Tennessee River or the going across the canal. I don't know if they would put in another one or put a shared lane or what they would do on that one. That's a chunk right there. But the trace is already listed, so Katie's is moving this way. They're moving west toward the trace, or toward LBL. So if we can do that, that would give us a trail from Katie's all the way to here. And then if we can link up with Paducah, if that is good, that's another extension on. So that would be a destination. So
Just
It's-
trying to think of how Paducah's gonna do that.
Lynn Jones says if you're gonna drink, drink big.
Yeah.
That's all the project updates, sir.
All right, moving on to budget review.
Okay. I'm sorry that that is so small, but that's about the best I can do. I hope
And
you
I
all
didn't
can see
bring my
that.
cheaters, so
You didn't? Well,
I
here,
just started. No, it's okay.
I can look off my book.
No, I can do it.
All right,
I can do it.
I'll read out, okay?
Okay.
What you're looking at on the first two, of course, you've got the account number. First off, Calvert City passes not a line item budget, but a summary budget. Okay? These line items that you're looking at are worksheets. This is how we develop the numbers for the budget. So, the first column is account numbers. That's just an internal thing, and then description. Then you got fiscal year 2021 and 22 audited. Those are the figures that were audited from our previous audit. Then we try to do the last 3-year audits. We look at those numbers. And then we look at the current year budget, what we did in 9 months, what we expect. We go over in detail with the department heads to see what they think they're still going to spend. That gets us through the FY 24-25 estimated. And then, of course, the last one is the actual budget figures they're going to submit to the council. Right now, the last 4 columns are where we're at, and starting at 205. 201 is payroll. We haven't got that ready to go in here, and it's not really anything that you guys have any control over. So we start with 205, which is basically departmental expenses. And this right here also is more in line with staff. And I'm just going to give you a quick rundown and update what we're looking at, okay? Not a whole lot of changes. Uniform, let's see here. Professional and technical services. Basically, that's some tech, but a lot of times it's more of line item issues for first line extinguishers and stuff like that. Because we have once a year, we have got first line comes in and does all the extinguisher work. And that's a chunk of change. Uniform clothing allowance, we're gonna bring, it's maintenance and repair, I'm sorry. Maintenance and repair, that varies. Simply because we don't know if a piece of equipment is gonna wear out on us or not. We try to maintain a rotation on mowers, tractors, and other equipment. But invariably, you're gonna have to do maintenance on something. So we're looking at spending 30,000, actually going over budget this year by about 5,000 in that line item because of everything that we've had to work on. 25,000, we're gonna go back requesting that for this next year because I think one major issue we had ate up a lot. That was the water line for the new bathroom. That was what put us over. We don't have that this next year, so I don't think we'll need all the extra. Travel and training, we brought it down because the guys are not traveling that often in parks. One thing about parks is that is all three of those guys are three of the three individuals who all have over 20 years with the city. I've got one that could have retired last year in there, and I got one that could retire next year, and then the other one is not that far behind. So these are all senior guys in the parks. So they're not doing a lot of traveling other than if they go for training, for pesticide training, license renewal. Utilities. Again, we look at what we traditionally spend. We look to see if there's any price hikes that we need to factor in.
Yeah, why do you think it's gonna go down?
I don't. I expect it because we budgeted 47.5 and it looks like we're gonna hit 65. But
I was
it
just
has,
looking at the
it has
25,
gone down some.
26. I was looking at the 25, 26.
Yeah, that 60,000, we expect it. I don't expect we'll spend 65,000 this next year. Part of that also is water. And the water leak that was in there is not there now. Let's see here, communication and postage. That's a lot of, that's sometimes internet or phone. It'd be internet because phones are all tied through here. Rents, right now, that most of that right there is tied up in just Porta Johns throughout the year. But there's a couple other things that go with it as well, but Porta Johns is the biggest one. We're getting, hopefully, if with this next budget, and I'll go, that we'll get rid of that. Or get rid of one of them anyway.
Yeah.
Other contractual services, that's mowing, landscaping. Oh, flip over. Technical supplies. That's our well. Look, what is that? Most of the stuff that they'll have to have chalk, stuff for the ball fields, electrical supplies, lights, stuff for the bathrooms. Ag supplies, that is actually pesticides and herbicides or fertilizers. Equipment parts, again, that's for mowers and tractors, construction materials. We do framing for concrete pours. Uniform clothing and purchases, we've actually reduced our costs there because we no longer rent uniforms for the employees. We actually buy the uniforms. They actually were set in as a committee and a team and picked the uniform. They're wearing Duluth flex fit fire hose pants, which we usually get at a decent, we try to catch them on sale, but they're given 6 pair of those and they got 6 shirts. In the summertime, they'll get 6 of the high-vis t-shirts. And since we've gone to this, because they were cleaning their own uniforms.
Yeah,
They weren't
the
sending them off to be
contract pay,
cleaning, so we're wasting money.
Yeah. that makes
We've
sense.
actually reduced our uniform cost to about half of what it
That's
was.
great.
Yeah, that's good.
Motor fuel and lubricants. I kept it at 12.5 because it looks like we're gonna go about 10,000 this year. And we had 12.5 budgeted. I expect it to go up, so instead of reducing, I just left it alone. And then other materials, supplies, that's just something random. I have personal protective equipment is also in that technical supplies, okay? Their hearing, their glasses,
Like shields and stuff,
boots. We give them a pair of safety boots a year. And then we also pay up to $175 toward their if they have to have
Safety
reading
glasses,
glasses
yeah.
or prescription safety glasses, we'll pay up to $175. 505 is small Improvement, capital improvements, here we've got technical equipment, that's gonna be mowers. If you'll look on the back of that page, you'll see the breakdown of that, like 505 is your technical equipment. We usually spend $15,000 a year in field mix for the baseball fields. And that's all 5 of them, so, all right, and then we need a new ZTR mower this year, so. We're looking at one of those, no passenger vehicles, no construction equipment or maintenance, vehicles. Land improvements, we're keeping 2,500 in there for the banners. I mean, we have 2,500 in there right now, we're fixing to order more banners. But we use that, it's kind of a road, it continues, that's a continuous event. And the storage shed in Doctor's Park, well, money was in there for this year. It wasn't used because I think we got $1,350 for something, but we didn't use it because we just didn't have time. And so I'm gonna roll that into next year's budget. So that kind of gives you, that's departmental expenses right there, okay? Now, you have another page that follows this that is a combination. It's this page, it says capital improvement projects, okay? This one. Capital improvement projects are just that. It's those that could be depreciated. They're long-term, high-dollar equipment. It's either major improvements or improvements to, and when I say major improvements, we're talking about improvements of over 20,000 to facilities and or structures. So this coming year, we talked about in your strategic plan, there was a couple of things we couldn't put in here or didn't put in here simply because we didn't have values on them, nor did we have a good design to actually establish values. So the all-inclusive up behind the Civic Center. I've got some ideas down at south side of Memorial Park below the pergola. But we haven't come to anything yet that you guys could look at and approve. And then, what else was it? Well, we don't have any design or anything yet for the Christmas lights, so we're still working on that. Now, remember, this is a 3-year plan. This is not something we were trying to do all of this year. The 3-year plan. So these are big projects, the lights, all of that. And another one I want you to think about in there is soccer field lighting in U14.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's one that, I'm getting quotes on it right now, but I'm thinking it's something we want to look at in this 3-year cycle. So what we got here, and I'm gonna use the board, it's gonna match up fairly well with what you got. One of the things is unisex restroom, and that's gonna be at the tennis court. We'll put one in there because we just added the nice one up here. We put one down there. It's a single ADA compliant restroom. It'll be cinder block. It won't be this fancy as the one we have up here. Asphalt shingle roof instead of the metal roof. But we're still looking $50,000 for that.
It's crazy.
But that one's gonna be easier to hook up than the one up here behind the convalescent center. So that may be more expensive than this one because of utilities or lack of utilities there. Biggest thing is your sewer line connection. The multi-use trail expansion, we've already gone through that. So I'm gonna put 125 in there. But I got to look at, I'm gonna have to do the 255. Because if we don't get the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, we're not gonna get the other one. Because the other one is totally contingent upon that one being issued. I feel like it will, but I can't swear to that, okay? Detention basin beautification. We've got a plan and layout to do that. It's gonna put a dense grade trail instead of a paved trail. It won't go all the way around because we can't. The apricot side, we don't have enough ground there to actually go put a trail in. But what we can do is go down Cedar and across 6th at the bottom. And we could probably go up in a U shape the other side, but we're not going to be able to do a complete loop. But this one includes, what it's including right now is a loop, small loop trail along Cedar, along with some trees, putting in some river birch and some benches and a few tables along that stretch there. We're gonna go ahead and put gravel. It's more of an access to our weir, so we can service it with vehicles, but it could also be utilized for that purpose as a walking trail, because it's another dense grade surface. The overflow, not what I thought it was. Not near as big as I thought it was. We could probably span that fairly easy. So that's a thought. One of the issues we're gonna have is snags, trees, limbs, stuff like that falling in that area, because that whole ditch along through there is just kind of rough lumber, rough trees. So but it's something that could be added down the road. It's not something in this next plan. So this is just to take care of, this is only gonna take care of the Cedar Street side. Okay. So, and you're talking like that right there is about 700 feet. Almost 700 feet in length. And you're looking at probably looping 400 to 500 feet. In a loop, so even with that, that's gonna be a decent little walking trail.
Mhm.
Which comes to shove, we'll take one of the porta johns, maybe even move it down there if we need. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a joke, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bad joke.
Beautiful.
Milling and drainage work down here, along with paving. It's a concession stand in between the ball fields. We're gonna take it down and redo it, get the grade on it so it drains to the ditches. And then pave it in such a way that it's still below the buildings instead of pushing the water back into the buildings. So that's 150,000. The ball field fence in Old Park, we got 40,000 in there. That maybe have to be readjusted. I still haven't heard back from the folks on it. But since they're not doing the whole thing, I'm figuring we might could do that for 40,000. But again, I've got to hear from one of the folks, so I'll know. LED lights for fields 1 and 2. We've got the metal poles, but we'll have to replace cross arms and lights. That will give LED lighting to all the ball fields down there. And the metal halide will be gone, so that should reduce our income or our cost to operate them. But that's a $50,000 project, 49.5. But probably well worth it. Now the one for the soccer is gonna be a little more expensive because they're gonna wind up having to put probably 60-foot poles. And then 4 of them and all the lights, because we're taking on the U14, but we also have the U12s. We're doing it with 4 poles. It can be done. You're just gonna have to add more lights and change patterns to make them work. And I told him, I said, I don't need all the fancy stuff. We don't have multicolor lights in there, so we're not gonna do light shows. I said, I just want the things on and off, but you do whatever else you gotta do, but that's what we're working on. In case you didn't know, we could actually, Bob can make the lights at Fields 4 dance. But you're not gonna get him down there at night to make them dance. So, lighting in Memorial Park. With us paving it this year, we're gonna come back, I wanna come back and finish the lighting, the decorative lighting we've got along that. That's gonna be 6 to finish that one. And then that's lighting the pergola as well. Instead of putting a light at the pergola, light the pergola. Okay. Then the other 3, because that's 9 poles. The other 3 are the trail going up to Fifth Avenue from
Amphitheater.
putting 3 lights up there along that one.
You're saying light the program, talking about just putting the string lights up?
No, I'm talking about putting in the decorative lighting like we have on the trails down there now. The pole with the, like that. That's what we're
Q-tips.
talking about. Each one to buy them and set them is somewhere around $5,000, so. The fitness center. I don't want you guys to get locked in on that one particular fitness center that we looked at. That's extremely high. And talking with Miracle Recreation, and a couple of others, they can furnish, all kinds of equipment that's outdoor equipment And we can get it in a royal blue. We don't have to get it in those industrial colors of gray and ugly green, not just a good looking green, but an ugly green. We don't have to go that route. We can get the blue, like the colors of our canopies, to give it some brighter appearance. But now they're talking 25,000 for the equipment. Not to mention what it, whatever you'll set it on.
What is the thing called again? Cause I wasn't here for that meeting. What's the company called?
Which company is
Miracle,
that?
the one that came in.
Miracle Recreation is just one of the companies here in Kentucky. You got Miracle, you got Grass Recreation, you got
We did the one for Paducah's.
Hmm.
The community park in Paducah has an outdoor fitness center. Who did that one?
I don't know, I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I
it's
used
down
to-
there with like the whole community park that the
Yeah.
A park that we.
Yeah.
It's all right there together.
Is it
No.
nice? I haven't seen it.
I never seen anybody on it.
That's the.
Our kids burn the park
Yeah, I
up
think it's
in the
one of
obstacle
them. I've
course.
seen
I
a
don't
lot
see
of
anybody
them.
on the fitness equipment.
See, I
They
think
got
that's-
padding that wears down on it,
I
so.
just don't see them on it either. When I'm to other cities either.
That's the
I
one
like the
thing I've
idea,
been
but I just don't
concerned
see
about
them on
is
Yeah.
it gonna draw anybody to
it.
it?
It does.
I mean, I've heard you say something about boulders and a rock climbing.
Yeah.
That sounded pretty cool, but at the same time, I'm thinking we're talking about people and going into the pond. What about people falling off the rock wall? You know,
Well, that's the rock wall's actually got a rubber base. It's
Okay,
it's
so
it's
form-
concrete with a rubber mat
okay.
on it. So and I'll show you that here.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. In there on my desk, on that far side, there's a little book.
Yeah, the one in Paducah. Have you been there? Have you seen that park?
Mm-mm.
Our
No.
kids love it, but
No, we did
it's
Okay,
all
you
not.
know what you said
rubber,
there?
form place. Community basically built it and funded it.
Oh, well.
They've got a fitness thing off to the side,
Mhm.
their community garden. Then they got this really cool ninja obstacle course that's pretty neat. You scan it, it clocks your time around it. It's pretty cool, but I've never seen anybody on that.
You've never seen
That
one
was
of the ninja course
Never on
either?
the, no, the
Listen.
ninja course gets played, but I've never seen anybody.
Cars courses have been around for years and you see very few people use them. I mean, honestly, it's,
Like even a hospital, I've seen where hospitals have them and they're not used. I mean,
But you
I went
said
over
it
there
is
for that.
used
I wish.
at Paducah, the ninja course is used?
I've seen the ninja course.
well, it should, this,
But I
wait a
haven't
minute,
seen that
Let
workout
me just
course.
see, I
But
may
you
have
go-
it
I
here.
went over there and checked it out one day. You got padding up.
I don't
people on
think
it,
so, but
Yeah, the handles and stuff, that's money we're gonna put back into it.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I do.
I think money speaks.
Think it was small.
Well, 300, is that the
Yeah,
300?
It's very expensive
For
too,
the
very
fitness?
expensive too.
Yeah, I thought I heard you say something like a building or something. I was trying
Wait,
to
what is this?
Well,
listen and picture everything you were talking about in the
Like maybe-
meeting.
A little bit
I mean,
on the
these are not
trail,
small.
like,
Yeah.
do something
Now,
over
the
there,
other
see if it
thing-
goes where you put a big bunch of money in it.
See this?
Yeah, some
Feature?
features, yeah.
They're not small.
Yeah,
Okay. You can't use, they don't allow pea gravel anymore. Because it's not ADA compliant. This right here has got where you can actually build a scene and use the protective safety material, which is that rubber matting,
Yeah,
use it to create the scene to go with it. And so you can either use just boulder rocks or you can create oceans, you can create streams,
that's kind of like a discovery part.
bays, whatever. And one of them they've got, I really just like was, they got this shipwreck. But that's not the fun part. The fun part is the whale.
Yeah.
Moby Dick,
Yeah, there's some neat stuff. in
and
there.
look at the size, look at the kids on that. It's not, these are not,
That's cool.
this is not,
Very scope, yeah. big
yeah,
scope.
the scope is unreal. I mean, and it's all kinds of things you can do. They put boulders in that. It gives them a chance to climb. They've got ropes that attach,
Yeah, I
you
think-
can walk
I think
across
that
the
would go
ropes.
over great here. I mean. You think
You know,
about
and
all
it's,
all
and
the
so-
little kids playing and at the soccer field,
Yeah.
games are going, give them some place to.
this is what I was talking about for the south side beyond the pergola. It's
Yeah,
something new. It's something that I
It's
think the kids
eye-catching.
they love to climb.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Does Owensboro kind of have this down
Yeah.
at there, Owensboro?
Yeah, the boardwalk,
Yeah.
yeah, the really
It's
nice
not
part.
so much, they've got playground
Yeah.
areas. They don't.
That has I thought we could have animals, but maybe, I mean, my kids are too big for that now, but, so I just.
Look, this is confusing because this looks like this is small.
Mhm.
It's not.
Yeah, look
This
at
is
the
two
little kid.
pictures that
Yeah,
are overlaid.
gotcha. Yeah,
And we can't
you know,
do the stuff in Old Park because of the flooding, we can't. put
Flooding, I
more in
don't,
place.
yeah,
No,
I wouldn't wanna do much,
They'd be
I
really
wouldn't wanna do
floating
much
away.
more than what we've got down
Yeah.
there right now.
But this is cool to do like
To
like
climb in
a,
and.
like
walk
a
through.
wildlife scene though, that kind of like we don't have a lot of whales here.
Yeah.
But like to go with what makes sense here.
Well,
Yeah, try
You know?
to,
Catherine,
yeah, we
Nick
can find
sees.
fish or
Stuff like that.
They-
that you-
stuff that we have in the area.
You could actually mix it
Like-
where you've
like
got streams
like
going
this.
into the ocean.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a wildlife scene, like.
Yeah, we don't do like, cause you know, people do pirate stuff and do all that stuff, but if it makes sense in your city, you know, like,
Yeah, we could theme it
we're
towards
not in the
the
Caribbean.
lake area.
We don't have many pirates come through.
I think that's great. I
Something
mean,
that's like like.
Oh, but you
makes
did.
sense. Oh, through
Yeah,
the-
Part of your
y'all
history.
yeah,
you did
Cave
have
in
pirates
Rock,
On the Ohio
Cave
River.
in Rock.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay.
Howard's Cove.
Never mind.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I mean, historians in the room.
That's all right.
The other item, and I haven't mentioned on here, say that, let me see. No, that was unisex bathroom, so it's there. So, do you want me to continue investigating the outdoor fitness, or do you want to look at some other amenities?
I'm not big on it personally.
John, the other night I asked, I don't know, they don't really propose this, but like, could you do like a small thing throughout the trail or something where you see how it goes, and then you say, well, golly, you know, here's the experiment. We put one here on the trail and
You know, those,
nobody use it, or a whole bunch of people use it, and you say, well, we'll put another one
Kind of felt like.
incrementally, and then you say, well, golly, it's getting used a whole lot of time. Maybe then you say, because it's like, you hate to just build something humongous and then like nobody comes, or
Right.
you know, I mean, that's the thing I was asking that guy about that night was, you know, is there something really super small that I know they want to sell the big stuff, but maybe you could do it in a way
well, see, theirs is a whole different setup.
yeah.
It doesn't have the moving parts. Everything is based on your body weight. And
Yeah,
angle.
anyway.
But I mean, even
So-
I wonder if something you could almost,
But I just,
homemade
I
kinda
look at that
stuff, like-
price and I go like,
I know.
you can do that for more.
Well, you could
less
have,
than this. That's
you
not,
could just pull it off.
that
yeah.
was just outrageous.
Somebody with some ingenuity could do it, I think, and say, put some concrete in a post and put a few things that kind of are fitness related and
I think right now the trail
We'll
is
just-
gonna be, fine. I mean, if they wanna do something, do calisthenics,
Yeah.
sit-ups, push-ups, stuff like that
Mhm.
on the trail. Maybe we put
Yeah,
signs
that's
up
got-
that shows stuff
yeah,
like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, and maybe just,
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Try
actually.
something, yeah.
Yeah, just putting.
I mean, I've
signs
seen 'em
up
like that. I mean, I don't know.
Suggestions for like stop.
Fitness challenge.
20 jumping jacks.
Like do some push-ups.
Yeah,
10 push-ups, yeah.
Yeah,
We do that. We'll run and stop and do push-ups and then run
Yeah.
mile push-ups. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a good idea. That
I've
wouldn't,
seen people do
cost much.
pull-ups on the kid playground.
Yeah.
up there by the civic center. So even something.
so like a
that.
pull-up bar.
Pull
I
up
thought,
or something, just.
Yeah, something real simple,
small
yeah.
pieces.
that's what I thought.
or like a
I
place you
thought a
do
few
it.
pieces up
Well,
there by the
If
basket.
we start seeing lines for that pull-up bar, then maybe we start.
Well, see, I don't have issues with some stuff like that, because the one thing I don't want, and I've kind of preached this, and Cammy and David can both tell you, because they've heard it from me more than probably anyone in this room, is that we want to do something that undermines our local businesses. If you got a business that's making money off physical fitness and people are using it, and we go in there and we put something that undermines that, it takes away from them, and have we done the right thing?
Well, I'll tell you the one thing I do see though, at the fitness center, a lot of these people, they'll run, circle back and do the other stuff, or either shower or do the rest of their workout. So I mean, I
Yeah, this
kind of
time
see
of
it,
year,
you can see either
The
or.
cardio's going outside.
You see some either way, you know, it gets rainy, I want to hit the treadmill, but if not, I may run out and do a
I'm
lap.
not talking about running, I'm talking about exercising, I'm
Yeah.
talking about putting machinery out
Yeah.
there
We're putting
for them to use
Yeah.
instead of
Equipment
using,
competing.
yeah, the
Yeah,
equipment, that's
I
what
mean,
I'm.
I don't think you need to do something big.
Now,
stuff, but
like you
might-
said,
Right.
I like
but you
the
might,
non-moving items like, using,
but you
pull-up
might
bar,
attract
chin-up bar,
somebody that
something like
never
that.
does anything. They say, well, I want to do something to get started, and then, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind of what, to me, that's what you're trying to target, somebody that just, they don't want to spend the money. I don't
You know,
just-
in the last 20 years, we've added a lot, and the justification to the community is
It's diminishing.
we see they're using it. We see
Exactly.
that court
Yeah.
is getting used since we
Oh, yeah.
redid it, that the pickleball courts are being used, that our ball fields are full because, some of the nicest around. I don't know that
it's a. legal
Our community is
playing
gonna
field.
use
I mean, I
that
kinda,
fitness center.
I mean, I
I think if
like.
we lived in like
the
Montana,
concept.
Utah, that would be used,
Yeah,
but we
Muscle
live, I mean,
Beach.
Maybe a
Yeah.
college town.
like I feel like where we live, the fitness is important to a lot of people, but it's not important to every person. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Like when we went out west, it was like, oh, there's some different people, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
It's
also
a different
just,
culture. So like maybe if our culture keeps, I mean, and it feels like we're gonna have to, but I just like the idea of doing the pull-up bars and some signs and see if those are
exactly,
used
little experiment.
before we throw
Yeah,
375
I'm with you. I think
yeah,
it's
that's
just
a lot.
I kind
I
of like
mean-
the stations idea.
little stations here and there, just random, I don't know, whatever.
do something that's not a machine. It is something that you're using your body weight to do.
Well, like,
Just,
I've
just
seen-
the same concept that we were talking
A
about.
dip bar, pull-up bar,
Are
Yes,
those little
exactly.
static body weight. We're not doing bench pressing and.
That's
using,
correct.
you
You're
know,
not
like those
doing,
balance
you can do
beam
setups
things.
or something like that, but
And I'm
it's
thinking
not.
like they're almost like a tree trunk, like 3 of them in a row where you could like step, jump up, jump up, jump up, and do that kind of stuff. It's real simple, and then
like box jumps kind of.
box jump
Yeah.
type thing, or something that, would weather well, and then, a kid might jump on it, and I mean, something that's could be used.
and
for
that would
anybody.
be,
Or
no,
just you can lean a bit
North
push up on it
Use
or
Trail,
something.
like this trail here.
Yeah.
Not anywhere else. Like this would be smartest, I think.
We put it in here in Memorial Park, or Doctor's Park. That
Yeah.
one, I think, would be the place for it.
Yeah, I like it.
I like that. I've had bugged Blair for years. When I go out of town, I'm usually doing something, athletic cardio or something, but I'm always like, look at this, here's park ideas from this one, or look at this trail. They've got like drums out here. They've got chimes. They've got a pull-up bar, like
Mhm.
engaging you around the trail with different items.
So the chimes, we looked at doing the musical stuff.
Yeah.
And boy, you either loved it or you hated it. And the people that were most set against it were the ones that lived closest to it.
Oh, That's
They have, do you know they have at Grand Rivers? Just like
yes.
one
Grand
little,
Rivers has got it.
Truck
Yeah.
around the
right
side.
there. Well, on the, yeah,
Two-
on the,
has it too.
where the jetty is.
So you fix that, we'll hit the old park.
It's looking a little rough. It's looking a little warm.
The cabin pizza.
Yeah.
Oh,
They have
no, there's
problems.
one right across, if you're looking, if you're at the lake.
I saw a picture. I was like, oh, they got the drums in there, but the Paducah Park again has all these chimes that are gorgeous sounding, xylophone.
Yeah,
To me, it's not
Every time y'all go
annoying,
buy those, you
but-
have to test out every one of them, cause I do.
I did.
Oh, they're so cool. I play them every time we go. I
Yeah.
go there with the kids and
Set it down there by
I was
the,
like, man, we're wailing
Oh,
on.
parking lot.
no, I was thinking the
I'm
the
talking
chime,
over here,
Set it-
Doctor's Park.
where you could set it down there. Well, yeah, because you want to play it.
Of course.
Everybody's gonna.
But
be
down
fun.
there by the,
They're really cool.
But if,
Railroad
That's even
tracks
something that could go with
in
these
that
little features
in
the
that
park.
area
Like,
where
put
all
some
the
of those little drums and stuff like that.
T-ball
Yeah.
fields are.
well,
over there
you know,
playing, excited,
it
engage
might
their
work
mind,
back
you know?
in there where at the end of the trail, the trail leaves from the concession stand and goes down beside
Mhm.
down to the T-ball. Down there at the end of
Somewhere.
that, maybe.
Mhm. I think that'd be a good place.
For
It's not
what?
Yeah,
gonna
'cause-
bother anybody's house.
For
That's
the
For like the
system?
chimes.
Yeah, that's
It's not gonna
true.
bother anybody's house, and a lot
That
of
or
kids will
over
have
the
access
corner.
to it.
over
Yeah, and then
over
any
the corner
baseball
back there.
siblings,
Yeah.
you'd be right
You got all
there.
these little,
But then it's also
siblings.
along the trail so that you can hit it as you're going.
Gotta be careful. The one thing you gotta be aware of is where the disc golf is down that way.
Well, you're good there.
There's nothing like having a child hit with a disc golf.
Well, you're good there, right there where that comes out.
You know, we
Disc
had
golf's
somebody was living up
over
there in
here.
pine trees. She got hit in the side of the head because she was too close to that course.
I've always thought that
And
was.
so
a
we
little
put signs out, but it did. She got stitches.
so most of them usually hold when they see you coming, I guess.
I don't know.
Usually they don't.
I mean, I don't think we got away from him or I don't know what happened, but she got tagged.
Yelling disc golf.
Oh,
Duck. Yeah, scalp. So. Are you guys good with this? Everything down to the fitness.
Yes.
yeah.
Everything, all right. Is there anything else you can think of that we haven't touched on tonight?
Well, how much money do we have left? Like,
Well, it's not how much
that
money you have
add
less
up?
than how much money you're spending already.
Well, you said the only, the soccer.
You've already
concern-
spent over $1 million, you've already spent over $1 million in the parks this
So
year.
you're telling us we have to say maintain.
No, I'm
what we
saying that,
have
you know,
again?
just be aware, you're not gonna give you $1 million every year. I hope they're not.
Well, you said some
That
of this
means
is
something
4 year.
else is
Is
going-
all of this year, or you said some of it's 3-year plan?
Well, all of this was part of the 3-year plan.
Okay,
So you got big big ticket items here for the next couple of years,
Mhm.
and.
so the question is, do we want to do all of that, or do we
But
want to add in some?
soccer-
What I'm saying is,
Up
what
there.
we've gone over, are you good with that? Short the fitness center.
Let's just take it off, yeah.
Yeah, it's fitness center, we just,
'Cause I
You
don't-
need
we
the,
piecemeal it later on,
And
and
then the
so.
rest of that, go with it
the soccer lot.
for this year.
The soccer lights are not up there.
They're not up there
Right, yeah.
because I haven't got any
Yeah,
quotes on
but
them
it's in
yet.
the thoughts.
So we're waiting to see. I mean, I can,
May I ask which, I'm not familiar with the field order. I know the big fields have LED. Which baseball fields are one? and
if,
two?
here's the deal, put the 225 in there we don't have to use it for that,
Yeah,
then we might be able to utilize
you're
it to
at
do
the
the soccer
tracks.
lights.
You're at the tracks. It's 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so it's the two little guys over here.
Yeah,
Okay,
the,
so those are some metal.
The-
1 and 4 by the tracks.
Okay,
So. You're looking at, total CIP, I need to change that. Instead of 125, that's another 100,000, that's at 5, that's half million, 5 feet, right at 535. No, 600. So that's 600,000.
What would we have to do to get that parking lot at the old park paved?
Do it now?
Parking lot at that old park?
It's getting
it's
paved
getting
this
paid
spring.
this year.
It's already it's on the thing to get paved.
Oh, I thought you
Is
were
that gonna
saying-
get that back?
No, we're
corner?
paying all of it except the new section off at western entrance. It's a new pavement right there. But everything else is getting a new coat of asphalt, including the parking lot down there.
You're talking about the gravel lot there.
I am.
Okay,
There won't be any gravel down there.
okay, I got you.
Okay.
I thought that-
And then when we do this down at, and we'll also do that section down here at Memorial Park, that'll get it paved.
The wall.
And I really don't wanna pave that little segment from the parking lot that goes over and then goes into the
Oh, yeah,
amphitheater.
yeah.
Because that means that people will think it's part of a driving
Yeah,
trail, and I
driving.
don't want them driving back there, so.
When we pave that, any thought into making that a solid parking lot versus having all the little grass
Where?
cutouts? By the new pavilion, when we pave that,
No. No,
just a thought.
I know. But we use that because of the design and the layout of it. That helps. Put the lines, it gives us some lines to move through and some parking on the inside and outside. It also leaves some natural space in there.
I just thought expense wise, it might be less expensive.
No, it's way more expensive. I mean,
Okay.
because we'll have to cut that out. And gravel it and then pave it too, so that's just extra money. And as it is right now, what we're trying to do is to keep some of that. Because we have the same thing down here, we got landscaping down here and Doctor's Park. And we've got it all along our walking trails, so we want to try to keep that same flow going throughout the park system. So you're looking at right now, taking out this one. Then you're looking at, let's see, no, 100,000 on that. Yeah, right at $600,000 for this year.
Is that with the multi-use trail, the 255, that includes that? But
That's what I'm saying.
that might have be a grant.
Well, yeah, includes here, this one, all of this, okay?
Okay,
Not fitness.
But do we want
And
to do
if this
something?
particular, I'm sorry.
Do we want to do something for the fitness center though? Cause I don't think we all expressed maybe some workout stations, just some signage. Want to put a little money in there for that?
that's what I was thinking too.
Like a.
What did you mention? You said something about the workout area, the rocks, and a yoga something is what I heard.
That
from
was
last
what,
meeting.
that's what that
Okay,
375.
that's in that basket. Okay,
And we've got the layout for the yoga. They're doing the yoga on that pad or either in the grass.
okay,
So it's good as far as that goes.
okay.
And we don't have to change that. The other one is just, do we want to put some exercises? And if we do, they're not that type of equipment's not going over to Memorial Park. It's coming back over here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, how much do you want to put in that?
Well, Everything is way more expensive than we ever
I
think.
saw saying $50,000 probably would be.
Well, I'm like, what would it
The
really cost
concrete,
versus
everything.
what like a sign?
Is that a reasonable amount, 50,000, John, to start with, or is that too low?
It depends on some stations.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know if that.
I think that's probably more than enough. You could probably do everything you want to do for that amount of money.
I mean, worst case, we just roll it, we don't use it, it goes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct. If you don't use it, it goes
I mean,
over.
it just
for
gives
next
you a
year.
chance to like have something to work with that you can kind of evaluate what's out there and all that to start with, I
Okay.
guess, too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. maybe
We can come back and talk about it some more
Exactly,
too.
maybe talk about it too, because there might be
Alright.
something we could do that says.
All right, so this figure. I'm gonna leave it 255 because if we don't need it, then we've got that money that, with the mayor's, if this gets approved like that, then if we don't need it, then the mayor can approve it for other projects. And, you just make a recommendation at that point that this money that wasn't used for that could be used for soccer lighting or some other
Christmas lights
project.
or, yeah.
Do we have a general idea what the soccer lighting would cost? Is it like the baseball field? You said it's a little more expensive though?
Well, it's probably gonna be 150 to 200,000.
Hmm,
It's not gonna be cheap.
Cheap, nothing cheap anymore, is it?
it's because there's so much.
Well, you know
taller?
that you've got the tariffs on all the metal. And you've got all the aluminum and all the steel that goes with
Yeah,
that, and it's not gonna be cheap. Not gonna be cheap. But at least the soccer association is keeping it together on that field. They're not bouncing around like they have in the past. And that's one of the reasons we've never even invested in that was because they do bounce them around, or did bounce them around.
So now they're more stabilized.
They'll have to.
Have to be, yeah,
That's the other
They-
thing,
they-
they'll have to.
yeah, because I could.
And we sat down and talked about this at length, and I told him, I said, you guys,
Commitment.
are you guys, we laid this out to get to 14. I said, can you live with this? Because if you can live with this, then we may have the opportunity maybe to go in and look at some other things to make it better.
Yeah.
Do the lighting.
And it's down here? Is
It's
that
the
what we're
big
doing?
one that turned into 1 or 3 fields, depending on how we use
So
it.
Yeah.
yeah. And
When we
then
played, it was just 1 field.
Yeah,
I don't ever see sport lighting going in down at the U12s or U10s. Not in Memorial Park. I just don't see that.
I agree. Kind of defeats the purpose of the other lighting.
Yeah, exactly.
If there ever was an option down the road on those poles, could there be more light arrays added to the backside, say the baseball ones, to light up the little fields? Is
Oh,
that
you
an
talking
option
about
to expand?
U4 or U6?
Yeah, there's been talks of
It,
Dynamos want to get tournaments.
Yeah.
Calvert used to host one of the biggest tournaments in 4 states.
yeah, I know.
We had the soccer.
Then everybody got
Over in
tournaments.
there. We were
Yeah.
on it. We let
Yeah.
it go, and then
Yeah.
everybody took our tournament.
That's right,
But
it was our
there's-
first Derby Day. wasn't it?
Dynamo has grown back. I was part of that, and they were interested in getting to Calvert. They have a lot of scheduling problems that Mike Miller and our team's trying to get it, but they're interested in the lights. They're
that-
glad to see the fields here, but we've lost some of our fields over the
We've
years.
got 3. If we could actually line those out to where they were in a row or something like that, then we could actually work the lighting.
That's what I said. I was like, and we could flip a light. If you're putting them on those little fields, we could flip it on the back.
Well, no, in this one right here, I'm talking about where they're at up
Oh,
on the
yeah.
hill.
Yeah.
Keep them there and then put the lights there. But
Yeah.
let's try to get them in an arrangement. If you can't do, maybe you do 4 fields instead of 3.
Yeah.
Or you turn them all maybe the same directions, side by side by side. And have, some gaps in it, but you use your lighting that way.
Yeah, I was thinking you have the wiring and the hardware there.
Yeah.
Expand off.
I'd like to talk to them about that, see what we have room for and what we
Yeah.
don't have room for. We pulled the U12 out of here because actually we were on somebody else's property.
Yeah. Yeah, we use that
Where?
forever.
That we had
Yeah, yeah.
U12 down here,
Right
right south
behind
of the pergola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, where are we in the
Well, we
picture?
had the one
Yeah.
behind the pergola. We had a field back there.
And
We
Mr.
lost that one.
Mr. Greenfield literally bought that from
Yeah.
the,
Gotcha.
and when
Yeah.
they
We
bought
used
it,
to play down.
he
behind the
sold
pit.
us.
We had a U10 behind the.
That's what I thought he was talking about.
He sold us a section of it, but when he divided it in such a way that we lost part of that we had been using.
Yeah.
So we moved the fields, we looked at putting them over here, got the approval on it, and so now they can be set. So that's a possibility. All right,
Just,
I got it.
yeah, I was just thinking about it and,
okay, yeah,
cause I noticed even like the batting cage light, it lights up more than you think, just aiming the way it does.
yeah.
So I was like, man, if we could just spin a couple, we could provide a
That,
night.
right
zone.
now, you know, everything down there with the exception of those two fields is LED lighting. So. And that saves money,
Yeah,
no matter how you shake it, that saves
I know those
money and
little
it actually
headlights are-
puts out some bright
Yeah,
bright
those-
light too.
halides are outrageous. We went to, I'll wrap here, we went to a soccer game in Carlisle last season with our rec kids and I was shocked they had a night facility. And I said, this is really nice, you know, y'all done really good. It's like, how many people have nights? And they're like, well, the baseball field's got LED. They gave us their old lights, so we got lighted soccer fields. Of course, it's metal halides,
You know,
but that's how
we
they got.
donated the lights we had to Benton.
Oh.
They used part of them and then they turned around and donated the
Yeah.
rest of them to, may have been Carlisle
That may have been
County,
where it went.
Arlington.
There's Carlisle or Crittenden County. Go
Right.
Crittenden.
Oh, okay, well, they
Very,
donated
yeah.
them over to one of the river counties.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty neat. I was like, well, that's spreading it, but
They're
they're
still
still
working,
expensive.
so yeah, and they gave them some lighting that they couldn't afford to buy,
Yeah, it was really nice.
so, all right. Anything else, sir? Ma'am? Madam?
So the animal features, like, are we just thinking for like not this year, but next year or another year, just,
Yeah, because it's not, we don't have a design picked out, but
yeah,
this has got to go, this week is the last week.
Yeah.
This has got to be submitted to the council Monday of next week. All of it, not just yours, but everybody's. That's the reason I've got to get this in. So this is our last chance to make that call. For the meeting. Before we hand it out, that won't be our workshop. That'll just be, we'll just hand it to them and they'll take it, and look at it, and then we'll have a workshop after that. And I need you at the workshop.
On Monday, this Monday?
No, Monday's not the workshop. Monday is just a council meeting,
Okay.
and we're giving them the draft to look at before we have the workshop. But I'll let you know when that is. If you can let me know if there any particular nights or something.
If you let me know ahead of time, I can
Otherwise, I'll have Cammy do this.
schedule around it.
She jumped on that real easy. That was. I'll take Danae's spot.
oh my gosh, not the new spot. We want you back. Okay, so what about like a volleyball court? I mean, that's not that expensive, and we've talked about this, and we've bought volleyball. I know we bought a volleyball net, and then we
It's
never
sold.
put it up. We sold it, but like, okay, I'm thinking down like where
This year's my last year.
The-
You do whatever you want to do after that.
he doesn't want the sand. Okay, well then let's think,
No,
what
no,
else
no.
can you do
No.
besides sand? Can you?
That was it. There's
Just
no
grass.
place to put it.
What about down? Okay, we have the pickleball courts going in beside the other pickleball courts, right? What about right across the path from that?
Disc golf.
Oh,
Yeah, that whole field's got a one disc.
Yeah, it's messed up Old Park too, because there's a great spot in Old Park.
Because
Mess
I'm
up
thinking that-
anything.
there's
But
so
Old
many
Park's
people there
underwater.
now with pickleball and like everything's happening right
You
there.
could do
there
volleyball in
place-
grass.
I know, there's a great spot right in the center of those trees. It's got. a
I
big
think what we
open
need to do
spot
is
that would've been
down there
perfect.
south of where we're putting in where if you guys put in that climbing system and everything down there. Put it down there at the far end,
Wait, where?
at the far end of Memorial Park.
I don't care where we put it really. I
Honestly,
just thought it would be
The grass
good,
area
like,
on the other
The
side of the
shade, kind of
walkway.
a shady area,
Yeah,
probably.
we've got that whole little tree line right there.
I just think it needs to kind of be where the picnic area is gonna be, which is where all the pavilions are,
it's a good point.
because that's where it's
And
more
the-
likely.
In the softball
shade.
field. baseball
But the
field.
problem with
Okay.
that volleyball court, you talked about that years ago, is right now we're underwater and that sand and all that.
Yeah, right.
It's gotta be
Well,
thrown away. Once
I
it
think
gets-
we
going down there is
decided-
no, it
We're not gonna do
would be
sand.
a waste to go down there
It
because
would, if it wasn't sand, if it
Yeah,
was
we're not
just
gonna do
grass.
sand, just grass.
there's not any grass down there.
Well, there is, but it's, you'd have to redesign.
Where? It's woods.
There is a spot
He knows of a
in the
spot.
middle of that
He's-
wood
He's
that
got,
would be
he's got
perfect for
it.
it.
He's got the perfect,
Yeah.
turn, you gotta turn it this tree.
Plenty of space.
I agree with the shade aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm just worried
Is there
about the,
anywhere?
And you
up
got the two
here,
pavilions down there.
like near
You
the,
just have to
all the
redesign a couple of holes.
that you could put it, like near the basketball courts?
Think
Or is
about
there
the tennis
anywhere?
court, just put, I mean, put a concrete one down on the tennis court, it's not.
We talked about the
in middle-
tennis
in
courts
middle of
before. We
everything,
have
but-
no space down there, right? There's nothing, because it comes all the way
You
out
have
to the
parking,
court.
you
Yeah.
have parking lot and you have that. That's about all you've got.
Come on, everybody,
I'm
think
trying to
about
think everywhere
this.
else.
Give me my volleyball court.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to help you, but I don't know.
so. So the one that you have.
Remember where the old
so
tennis
doing-
court was at the damn village,
Right,
you know, where the old tennis
Sorry.
court down.
I remember like,
underneath
it's like
there,
3 or 4 years ago, you said you had bought a nice one, but we don't have that anymore.
No, because we kept that thing for 5 or 6
Somebody
years
got
and
rid
it
of it.
never did go up because there was no place to put it. We ran into the same thing because we needed and wanted the parking. We flipped the ball field.
Yeah.
Cause it was gonna go down there where the parking lot is, but when we flipped it and put the nice pergola in there, or pavilion in there, then that pretty much we needed the parking, so that ended that. So that means that we had to find a place up here.
So maybe our challenge is to go drive around, walk around the parks and look for a place to put a volleyball.
So keep that in mind. Look at Mike Miller Park. They have a sand volleyball court, hardly played on, mostly grown up with grass. But I think it's because you have to walk
There's
so
your
far to
spot.
get to it.
Yeah, my
So it's
kids
gotta
play
be
there.
s-
My
gotta be
kids will
somewhere
play there,
that
but yes, I know
can
that.
get to. You don't wanna-
And like where a bunch of people are, like you want to be,
Yeah, you don't
like
have
more
area.
people see it. It's like, oh, we could play volleyball, you know, but if it's hidden away somewhere,
Yeah,
It
because Mike,
needs to be out in the
Mike
open.
Miller's is the back nine in the corner. You don't want to go out there and play.
yeah,
It's just a hall.
yeah.
Let me look, think, I'll see what we can come up with.
I
He's gonna
just-
take-
just-
I am
if
not
it's-
promising
if it's
anything this
doable,
morning.
We can still do it though, right? Because this is just like, it doesn't have to be on the board, like we can still do
We're
it.
just
It's just
committing
a
to
rough
those for
draft.
the next year.
It's
Of
not,
course, you always have next year too, that's true. So,
So
but that gives us. some
we have a
time
year to
look
think
for
of
it
a
and see.
Christmas light design to actually get.
Well, I need a small group of you guys to do some looking. We talked about this and said that what we want to do is we want to change it. We don't want to be Noble Park. We don't want to be Mike Miller Park. We want to be something different. We are different and that's what we want to reflect. I mean, I thought we just put in these commercial style lights like we had on Fifth Avenue down in the park because Bob Future was right. When he put those other lights, those acorn lights in there or whatever you call them, those things were beautiful and it made all the difference in the world.
They're really cool.
So, I mean, you can literally go, to me,
Frogs, turtles.
look at this place like a Christmas village on Hallmark. Seriously, don't look at it as another Noble Park or Miller Park. We've got those. They're great. I'm not saying anything against them, but we don't need another one. We need ours. It needs to be us. And that's why I say, maybe we want to consider.
I
You
feel
know,
like
we've
our
got
crab's
mixed,
going up. This year was really good. The
Yeah.
Snow, the jazz thing was awesome.
Oh,
I
it's
feel
so
like
good.
we're,
Yeah, I like
we're
that.
doing it.
Yeah.
We're getting
Well,
there each year.
my
getting
thought
better.
was
Adding something.
incorporate the trail
Mhm.
Yes.
and incorporate some sort of a tunnel within the trail that you're going through.
Mhm.
Do your other little stops, whatever you want to do, but use the white lights
Mhm.
and go through the trail, especially on the fountain side.
Well, and think about like the generations coming up. Everybody wants to take a picture and take a selfie and so like you go to Patty's, everybody's taking a picture in that lighting.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's going to Mike Miller
the
with
lighting.
NASCAR and taking a picture. You want it to
I
be,
mean, I would think.
that's what's gonna draw
Really-
people.
That lighted tunnel, like I said, everybody
Mhm.
stops there. I mean,
Mhm.
we could do that on one of our walking paths and
Mhm.
I mean, there's so many things we can do with that. I mean, it doesn't have to be, understand it's gonna be time consuming because the guys have to put it all up. But if you condense it, if you make it with simple things like a tunnel that's created with white lights,
Mhm.
you've got
That's
whatever,
where you
a
go in the
black,
bushes.
you paint your PVC black, you run it over there and you've got your lights wrapped on it, so it's continuous and you run streamers between them, so make it wow.
Mhm.
Christmas in Calvert City, that should
Was
be lit
it-
up.
Was it your house or was it your brother's house that was
It was
lit up,
my brother's.
lit up with music?
Austin's.
Did anybody else see that?
Not this year, but like.
He didn't, like the year before.
Was
he
it
did.
last year?
I agree.
See,
We're
so we,
unique
yeah.
already, but we have opportunity to build on it and.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Take it to the next level.
absolutely. I mean, we're gonna keep colored lights down there with the fountain and with the tree. You're gonna have your colored lights there. I'm not saying taking them out completely, but do something different.
Mhm.
You know, something else that's neat, Nashville does it a lot, but you've seen those little rooftop bars, but it's the snow domes.
Mhm.
They have them set up outside and like they got like the couches and stuff in them so people can kind of hang out and do their little thing there.
Mm.
To be something neat to add in, it's just like a little, where everybody's sitting, having their hot chocolate and stuff like that, but. And I heard you say something about the bonfire, that's, if we can do that safely, that sounds pretty neat, because usually everybody's freezing and I feel like they jet out of there so fast.
Mhm.
But. Yeah, so we
And
can,
that's
we can
exactly
research that, I mean, as long as we have some time to do some thinking. and come
They're
up with
putting
some
the
good
little heaters
ideas.
inside those things. They've got the downcast heating.
Oh my gosh.
You gonna be all right?
Sorry, I have blooming ideas.
But she can't. tell
Write it
us
down.
Ideas, can she?
They need to rent them.
Yeah.
Like with the pavilions.
That's what, yeah,
We
that's what
could
they do.
Reserve them.
Those things book up like crazy in Nashville, and so
Like,
people
they're
rent them
doing
just to
it,
go out there and
they're
have their
doing it.
drinks or whatever, but you could rent those out as like VIP snow domes or something.
That's interesting. I like that.
Half hour, whatever, an hour, or.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, not a bad idea.
I don't know what those things cost, but if we got time to do some. normal stuff,
Again,
we'd love
that's
to do that.
something, think about those things, because that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to build Calvert's Christmas, not anybody else's Calvert's.
So you've got,
And I want it to be, and I want you guys, and I want it to be something where I want to go hang out at Christmas time.
Mhm.
And I don't want to drive through it. I want to walk through it. I want to experience it. I want to be there.
Mhm.
Well, I agree with that.
If you want the animals, expect the smells,
Mhm.
but that's part of it,
oh, that
you
was
know.
cool. I
It
like
was
that.
so good
It was
this
awesome
year. I think we do, if they can pull off what we did what they did this last year, and then add a couple of things every year, we're gonna,
Well,
so many people.
The Santa
will come.
fly-in is, I mean, the guy and the lady that do Mr. and Miss Claus, they're phenomenal. Their outfits are A1. I have never seen anything so good and so authentic looking. I mean, they look real. They don't look like
Mhm.
something you got out of a
So-
rental store. They look
So can
real.
we have Santa come in on a helicopter to our soccer fields that night?
Yeah.
Santa flying on a
Uh-huh.
helicopter?
Well, that'd be cool.
Issue is can we get them in there safely?
That's what I was wondering, I know what the,
Yeah.
I knew the blue.
That's the
was
reason,
there.
well, what they usually do is they'll have a guy that taxis his airplane. He doesn't fly in, he just
Yeah.
gets him in there and he taxis his airplane in,
Yeah,
and that's what they're doing now. And he'll taxi up there and let him out,
okay.
so, yeah. But yeah, that
Maybe we
works,
do sometime.
we got, I don't know how many people they had last year, do you remember the numbers?
It was ridiculous, packed.
It was, I mean, it's outrageous, the number of kids and parents that come. I mean, it's, we're gonna wind up parking in the field over there if it's not raining.
We normally stay for the long call, we skipped the Santa picture this year, it was packed. We were frozen. It was like, Kids, everybody's like, yeah, let's go. It was so cool.
And we may have to wind up moving that inside the terminal.
Well, she did it by cars, parking spots, so however many parking spots there are, I mean.
Oh, there's not enough parking spots. We'll have to park in the road and out in the field or whatever else, because it's just not a lot. So,
I agree though, his outfit is.
isn't it cool? That is,
The reindeer, I mean,
I'm going like,
it's the whole.
I like this guy's doing it right. So,
Okay, so you've got that up there, we don't have a price on it, so.
no, because
It's on
we
there.
don't have a design yet, and that's the thing I want. I need
So
to
when
get a
would our
design so we can
homework
start
time
looking.
be? How long would we have to start researching and come back to you with something?
I think we need to do that and do it in the next 6 months. So by this Christmas, have an idea of what we want to do for next Christmas.
Okay.
So that way we
Because
can
we said this
see-
last year.
Huh?
We said this last year.
I
We didn't get it
understand that,
done.
but you are the parks board.
I know.
You are the parks
We
board
wanted to
guys.
throw something on it, that way if we decide to do
I
something,
mean,
this year we have some.
I love parks, I really do, but I've got several other departments that I have to tend to as well, so.
I know.
But if we did put money, a number on it, that might help us. Like,
I'm
might
saying-
motivate us, like, we have this much money.
Doesn't say if
we
it's there,
put
and if
towards
we,
it.
if we don't.
No,
make it-
that's backing into it.
If it's not tangible, they're
That
not
is
gonna approve
packing
it.
no, it's packing into it. make your design, get your ideas, and then we build into it. We don't back into it. We don't piecemeal it. We know what we
Okay.
want overall, and we come back and we go at it. Maybe we go in phases, but we go at it that way.
Okay.
But you have an idea what your overall plan will be.
Okay.
You don't have to have exact pieces, but if you get an overall plan, then we can come back
Okay,
and figure
when
out
do
the
you,
pieces.
when, give us a deadline. Cause it's not gonna happen. Like, do we need it by,
6 months.
what, well, I mean,
we
like.
need- we need
what-
it by-
Which meeting here do we want?
November.
Okay,
So we'd be doing nothing this year. We're just gonna get our plan together.
What we're gonna do this year, that's all we're gonna do this year is get our plan together. So next year,
Yeah.
we will start putting a budget together.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the budget looks like overall and then see if we need to piecemeal it, okay?
So what currently happens at it, is Parks responsible for that, or is that
What's that?
everything that goes on down there now? Is that anything we?
No, that's
okay.
actually, the city does that.
Okay,
All right, you are a guiding force
Vision.
for the parks,
Okay.
okay? You don't have, you're not spending money or anything, you're actually saying, this is what we'd like to see. As citizens of this community, members of this community, this is what we'd like to see to improve the parks. That's kind of your job and
Kind of
function.
set the priorities, I guess, too.
Huh?
Kind of set the priorities of which.
Priorities
That's kind
is
of
the
the
other
main
one
thing
you
is
do,
kind of
you
say
know.
where you want to rank.
You know, we go through this and we try every 3 years, we try to just set a set of, this is our strategic plan for the next 3 years. This is what we want to see get accomplished in those next 3 years. And part of this stuff is up here and part of it's not, simply because you're not going to try to swallow it all at one time. Even though Cammy will not let this volleyball court rest.
no,
Well,
what I really
I
wanna
fought
talk
for that for a
about
long time
is,
too.
I want the volleyball.
He's
court.
gonna find a place for us.
But what I really want to talk about is the pond.
Yeah.
I walked by it again.
How's
I've
that
got
stuff
some ideas, John.
I do too.
I'm gone in 18 months to do whatever you want.
Don't leave us. We need you.
He's
Don't talk like that.
What about-
You're
He's
gonna-
out the
you know
door.
what's
He's got,
gonna
he's got a foot out the door.
You're gonna love that pond. I'm gonna walk.
I'm
by
gonna,
right
well, I'm gonna,
and there's John fishing in the pond, and I'm gonna go,
Well-
oh, just so.
we gotta stay. With a
But
light.
but this pond is, I mean, it's like sitting there. It's like you could, I mean, it's just almost like all we have to do is take down a fence.
We
I
need,
mean, not all we have to do.
need the
but, like,
John Ward volleyball court and that'll. It's our,
No.
defined,
name it after you.
whatever,
That's so good.
and then
And
it's
the
sell.
pond, and the pond.
Remember, John Ward is like John Smith. There's more than one in every community I ever went to.
Y'all talked about it the last meeting, that's I was watching on the YouTube, but the concern seemed to be people slipping in it or falling in it or whatever. CSI, I don't know if you guys have ever been there, they have a gorgeous pond out back and put it right there off the exit,
Uh-huh.
in the info park. Have you been back there?
It's got a gate.
I guess I've seen, but.
Yeah, you get in there, it's got vertical drop wall, like a metal wall or whatever. It's a 4-foot drop into the water. It's got little boardwalks that stick out where people go out there. There's kids all over. I've never seen anybody in it.
That's what would have to happen on two sides of that.
Yeah.
You would have to have that to make it work.
Yeah,
Simply
Have what,
because
the
it's
boardwalk or the wall?
both.
Okay.
You would
It's,
have to have something that
both.
would keep
It is a
people
yeah, it's like you walk into
from
there,
going
it's like
off
this.
in it.
It's a
Because
straight drop in the water, like it's not a
Yeah.
rip rap
No way
edge
to-
or.
no way to climb out or anything. Yeah.
there's no way out,
There's no way out.
not
You
without going across.
Yeah,
If you fall in at that side, you're gonna swim across it or you're drowning. That's my concern. That's my fear.
Mhm.
The rest of it, I really don't care. I mean, that now. And. We're trying to fill in part of it. To try to keep it from,
You said one side's really deep, right?
yeah, but that was a clay pit. They were digging clay out of it to take over to CCMA.
Yeah.
So that's what it
Line the
was.
ponds.
And that's all.
I was just
Uh,
curious how they did it. When y'all mentioned, I was like, well, how do they? Because most people go there. There's all kinds of little picnic tables. People, grassy hillside. They're there eating lunch, from the hospitals or whatever, and tons of kids go to take prom pictures there, and it's a very hot
It
spot.
can
Oh,
be
pictures.
done.
It's
It can be
gorgeous.
done. It can be done.
John's like, we can do it in 19 years.
I'm like, the volleyball court is not that much or not that expensive. I want a pond that has a boardwalk around it.
That's right.
Atlantic City.
Steel fenced boardwalk.
I stood there for a long time and we would have to put a wall, or what are we gonna do with the eyesore of like the fence, or like all
Put
of their
some,
stuff?
put some
What is it?
trees in the budget.
Soccer goals and all the things.
Too bad.
I say I already thought of it.
We'll plant trees.
We need to put a fence down and then you line the fence with like evergreen. No,
The beautification.
evergreen.
Oh, look, I tell you what,
Evergreen.
we can set the fence
There's
up
a
and you go put a
vision.
lock on it.
There's a difference in vision.
We can
That's
cover
not
it
the
with
table.
lock, you won't put a lock
There's a
on it,
vision.
like we do in France.
Yeah.
If we plant the trees now, by the time we get it,
We'll get arborvitaes, they grow
Covered.
really fast and you can get them pretty
Vision
big.
challenge.
5-6 feet a year.
Yep.
We're getting one.
Just line the whole thing. Don't worry about that wall of trees. There's nothing behind it.
yeah, put our trees in the budget, John.
I get there, I get those
wouldn't ask you
little
to dig a
planters.
pond. I would not ask you to dig a pond, but we have a pond. And it's like, why won't they let us go to the pond? There's a fence there.
Because right now there is no separation between it and Public Works.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And the
Yeah.
other thing is we have no safety for those, and we'd have to have safety, God knows we have to have safety. We could not let someone go out there.
Put a
Oh,
sign,
gosh, yeah.
don't fall in.
So how does like Mike Miller handle that with their pond? Because you can go right in there. So I mean, I've slid.
It
off
doesn't
it.
have that sheer, I'm sure it doesn't have that sheer drop. It was actually cut where it's a
Yeah.
slope
Oh
going
yeah,
into
you
the
slip
pond.
right into the.
See, on the other two sides, you can actually walk into it and there's enough there. It doesn't drop off for a ways. Now, you can only go so far, but you can pretty much go out to your chest before the drop off. On those two edges over there, straight down and
Straight
it's
down.
deep.
So we'd have to taper ours back.
We can't taper it. We just have to put something on it because there's no room.
Okay.
If you were to taper it, either way,
You're
you're
in the
going to the
railroad track.
railroad or the ditch to the railroad or going into the disc golf and
Yeah.
the pickleball.
So basically, you'd only have maybe half of the pond usable because John would have to block the back half. You
We
can walk, you
basically-
can walk on the railroad side.
Basically, you would have something where they could maybe walk around it.
Boardwalk though. Well, didn't we talk about that?
No, it'd be something you could walk around it, but you'd have to fish from the other two low sides.
Be that or maybe a pier, whatever jutting out. Like,
Maybe
You
so.
don't have to be able to walk
That's what I was
around.
thinking too.
You're talking about the railroad side to the deep side.
No, railroad and then the old part, the Memorial Park side or Doctor Park side.
The deep-
Those two are sheer drops.
Mm.
And the other side coming in from the south and from the east actually slopes in. So,
Railroad side, you wouldn't have enough.
because
distance
that's how
to
they came
taper
out.
Just fence them off on that.
Yeah, I would just
Just
not even allow people on.
On that ones, the sides that are.
Well, you could just
Maybe
fence
just
it,
fence off the two sides that are,
put your,
you can't do, and then you.
put your
can-
iron
Fence
fencing
it.
up there.
Maybe, I don't know.
Trees, fence it, block it
But I
off.
do like the idea of the boardwalk on that south side.
Yeah, I think a boardwalk and maybe a little fishing pier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
They're
might
not
be easier
tempted
just to
to-
put a pier that goes out to the
They
center
know
of
if
it.
they're on the
That's what I'm saying.
boardwalk.
Yeah, but
You're
it's
not gonna
just a
climb.
pier.
It'd have a
We've
pier that
said-
goes right straight out to the center, and
This
then
is
you
where
can
you
fish
fish.
everywhere from that center pier.
We're changing his mind, right?
Jeez, I'm talking
Right?
myself out of it.
All the ideas he has,
This
he's
is-
so smart. What's your idea? Through your friend? Gosh, those were really good ideas,
She wants
Don.
me
Did
to
you
be
guys
com-
write
She
this
wants
stuff
me to
down?
be completely gray, not just partially.
Any other new business?
All right. Not that I have, but I will go ahead and pull this together for presentation. Okay,
Just get with, it.
and again, let's look at, and I should have some numbers fairly quick on the utility or the lights that were down here, the cost of that. But also think about, and again, these are also future projects if we don't do, if it just something doesn't change. But that's gonna be, that, turning that into a fishing pond is gonna be expensive in itself because you're gonna have to separate it from Public Works. Completely separated. That way, no one is messing with it.
Mhm.
So a large privacy fence.
And have to have, yeah.
Tall, like
Oh,
very
10
high.
foot.
Yeah.
Big fence.
You're gonna have a chain link fence with barbed wire, just that's the kind of the way it looks,
But the trees.
I don't like that idea, but unfortunately, it's kind of the way it is.
You know, can't risk
Um,
it.
The,
I mean, right now you can just walk right over there real easily.
I know you can, but they're not supposed to be in there.
I saw Cammy fishing on it there. I mean, she's back there on your bulldozer.
No, I'm talking about in the public way. That fence is not much of a fence.
No, it's not. But it's a hell of a drop off.
It's probably a good
You
investment.
come over, if you come over there by the pickleball course and go over, it's a drop. So it's a drop. So the fence is just to protect you from falling off that drops. But, yeah, okay. All right, I'll look at that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I was gonna let it go and I'm like, I'm not.
Johnson fence.
Oh, man.
So now you need to get his phone and say.
Yeah.
So to start
I
popping.
got
I start popping up on his ads.
Like, look at this fishing dock.
Like, pop a bunch of video.
The volleyball is not that hard. We can figure it out. And it's just
Yeah.
one, like we are getting gaga ball, like we're just
I
gonna like,
still think,
people are loving volleyball. I love volleyball.
I still think that it would be down in Memorial Park on the south end. Because the whole thing of putting in the other is that you're gonna have picnic tables and stuff like that, because that's gonna be, you're gonna have benches around it so the parents can watch. You're gonna have picnic tables there because it's shaded and they can be sitting in that area. And it's just, maybe it's just a place to put one. I don't know. I don't know. Do you put it in a memorial park? How far do we go with a memorial
I
park?
know, I thought you didn't, I wasn't suggesting that because I thought but then there's soccer fields there.
Yeah,
And I kind
And
of,
people are like, look at, if there's music down there and you have volleyball, like that would work. That seems to go together.
It's kind of interesting because we have all of our big loud festivals there, but then it's like, oh, we can't be too.
Mhm, We
We
got,
gotta
we got.
calm down.
to keep
But
it.
that's where we have everything. So it's, to me, it's like,
it's difficult. Basically, you're gonna have some kind of sports and stuff on the east side of the creek. I guess the sacred area is the area on with the splash park and the amphitheater. That's where you get most people are gonna sit in that area right there.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not really picky on where we put it.
as long as we can.
Lights too.
I don't need lights. I don't have to have lights. We'll do that another year.
I'm trying to think, we got some.
But if we
property that
flip something and you've got some fluid coming off somewhere else. or
I know,
existing pole
exactly,
With just one
right,
head or something, I
right,
mean, you can
right.
do a lot.
We've got some property over there off
And then it
Evergreen.
floats in the water and then you got.
We've got some property over around Evergreen. I just thought about that. We got some property over there.
We should start next meeting with a walk. Everybody walk the path. Is that legal to do a moving meeting?
I always want to do that. I have a hard time like sitting in
I do too.
here
Sometimes
and
we get
dreaming.
confused
As long
on
as
where-
it
like,
is-
you guys were-
As long as it is, here's the deal.
We need a layout of like a picture map and.
We've done that
You
before.
you recess to go see something, no decision can be made. You have to come back here. It's kind of like an
Yeah,
executive
I gotta do
session.
it on.
Yeah, but you have the meeting, you started here. And then you know, and you understand on there, you let it know that this is gonna be a moving meeting. It's something that you have to advertise it. So that would be the one that you would actually say, this is what's gonna happen here. And we will be moving to see sites and then coming back here.
Everyone can fit in a van.
2023, right?
I think you can.
or we could just all meet before the meeting.
We've done that. before.
No,
Or we've done.
As long as
something
it's-
like that.
Cammy and I walked
you're
around.
gonna have a
to
quorum.
Figure out where the memorial thing.
Not if we're in two
came
different
back
groups.
afterwards and did it. Something too.
Gonna get gray hair for it.
You two
All
go
right.
here, you two go here.
Anything else, guys?
No, sir.
No. Motion to adjourn, second,
I'll second.
all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned 6:55.
Good work.
That's good, yeah.
18.
Good ideas.
Is that true?
That's the plan.
Boom.
So it's
Yeah, I'll have
not set in
I'll
I've
stone.
been hearing
22
John say
years here.
2 years, 2 years. I've been hearing you say that for a while. Many years he's been telling me 2 years.
I'll be 67 next year.
I know. That's what somebody that.
But Ralph was 70 when he retired. so-
And Tammy, just keep after him. It took me about 10
My
years
wife
to
has
get
not said that
dedicated.
she's gonna retire, so that may be the determining factor.
when I talked to Gene, I said, I've been working with John since he started here. Like, I used to do the website for the city. I was like, I've been dealing with John for many years.
You and I've been working together since I got here.
Yeah, I said, I've been with John since he started.
Since we started, that's exactly right.
You said that something last meeting. Like, I've been here, I can't know how many years. He's like, I've been with him since he got here. It's like,
Yep,
well, I don't do the
Sure have.
website anymore, but you know.
I
was
think I've
working
been
with
here
him.
for most of them.
yeah.
A long time.
So
And you know what? I loved every one of them.
it's, I'm so in
So
love with how much we've grown.
year after this.
Well, that's, like I said, that's the plan. Katie, oh,